too.
Right, I'm Monika Staab from Germany, and I've been here in Saudi Arabia now actually 2 years, and I started as the national head coach for the A national team. So I was the one who established the A national team on 11-a-side. And then after a year, I became the technical director of women football. We hired a new head coach from Finland, and now I'm overlooking, of course, not only the national teams, we established the under 17, also the coach education. We've been doing very well, and also the grassroots projects, like the 3 academies we established in the 3 main cities in Saudi Arabia.
That's amazing. Thank you, Coach Monika. Leanne, can you tell us more about yourself and your journey?
Sure thing. My name is Leanne Johari, and I'm a football player in the national team and the Ittihad club. And I've had the privilege to start with, since we began and created the national team and played the first ever international game with the national team. And yeah, that's my passion.
Thank you, Leanne. We'll just open the floor for questions now. We'll start with each media outlet, like we'll start with 1 question, and then we'll circulate. And please, for the journalists, before asking, can you just state your name and your publication? I'll start with Ruben, if you can hear us. Okay, apparently not. Oh,
I think
it's not. It's fine.
he
We'll
can
start
hear,
with...
but he said he will, because he's still on air, so he'll try his best to join in when he can. So I think for now we can jump to another journalist.
Okay, then we'll start with Tamara.
Hi, I'm Tamara. I'm from Al Arbia English, the English language news website for Al Arbia TV. So my question is to both of you. How have you noticed the shift in people's attitudes towards women's football in Saudi Arabia from when you first started to right now?
Would you like to begin? Okay.
Yes.
Well, obviously I've been in Saudi longer than Coach Monika, so I know how it was even before we had a platform to play. It was very quiet. It wouldn't say it was anything else but that, because there wasn't really a platform for us to play, and nobody knew about us. So it was pretty much quiet. And then when we started, when we had our first league and started to create more teams all around Saudi, it became like new news to so many people that, oh, we have women football, you know, and when it had like in the huge men's clubs created women's teams, that was like the biggest news ever. You know, everyone was so curious, who are these girls? So I think there was so much curiosity from the beginning, so much interest, and like everything, like every other subject, there's so many different opinions and perspectives that everyone has. So you got a lot of support, and then there's criticism, like everything else in life. So I think, but now we reached a place where actually we're seeing so much support and so much excitement, and people are, even like random people are just curious, like asking, are your games going to be live? Everyone is so eager to watch how we play. So I think there's so much, their attitude is very, very curious and excited.
Great. And Monika?
Well, I'm surely not a Saudi citizen, so I came here 2 years ago, and I couldn't believe it when I had the call 966. I didn't know what was the prefix when first I was getting the contact to do the ever first C license coaching course, and that was actually still in Corona time in December 2020, and then I was just amazed about these coaches. We had 25 getting up every morning at 5 o'clock, coming to the session at 6 o'clock, doing these C license for over 2 weeks. And I said, what is going on here? I just was not able to to really to say this would happen, and it was really a big surprise for me. And then, of course, Lamia Atwa, the key. You can say the key player in women football since, of course, the FA started to structure women football in 2019, when still also Corona was on, and I think that was a difficult time to overcome. And then now, after I'm coming on board September 2021, and I was just amazed about all these engagement, about these commitment, especially now Lamia Bayan, she's now the vice president of the FA, and Alia Al-Sharici is the director of women football, and how these women are really convinced we have to do women football, because all of them, also Atwa Al-Orefiri, for the deputy sports minister, she and Lamia, all of them played the game, and all of them had this vision, one day we want to go to the World Cup. And I think these three women are really, I look up to them, because they are so full of passion, commitment to make all these happen in such a short period of time, like the progression we have done with the Premier League now, which is fantastic, coming out again this year, having all these foreign players coming to Saudi Arabia, want to support. And for me, it's also very important how the president of the FA, the GS, of course, also the sports minister, all of them want really seriousness in women football. And I'm really surprised. I've been around the world, 90 countries, but I haven't seen such a support from everyone, from the FA, from the whole country, like I experienced in the last 2 years in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you so much.
Juan, the floor is yours.
Hello, Juan Castro from newspaper Marca here in Spain. It's a question mostly for Laia, because I think that Monika has already a bit answered. But you know, the focus of the world is now in Saudi because of the big stars that are arriving there. So how can all these big stars, and you are in a club, Al Ittihad, which has Benzema, Kante, and so many good players. So how can these stars inspire you as a players?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Definitely. I mean, like the rest of the world, it was the biggest shock when Ronaldo came to Saudi, but I feel like what he did was opened the gates to so many other players to see what Saudi is all about. And I think he really, obviously, what he did was a huge move, and it inspired so many people besides me. And for Ittihad as well, Benzema and Kante coming was so huge. Kante is actually the most player I watched growing up. He's the one I really looked up to and tried to play like him most of the time. Like I recall back when before I was at Ittihad, I was in Eagles, which is the club that Ittihad bought. Before games, I used to watch Kante, and when I was nervous, my teammates used to call me Kante, like be like Kante, you know, run everywhere and then defend like he does. So he always inspired me. I never thought I would suddenly see him in my club, you know. That was like, it was the craziest moment, you know, that we're playing for the same badge. It really meant a lot. So just for him to even play in the same club as me means so much to me. It inspires me every day, and I'm always excited to watch their games. Yeah, they're true inspiration.
Thank you.
Of course.
We'll go back to Tamara.
Before that, if I may ask a question on Ruben's behalf, just because he's unable to at the moment. So the question he sent me was for both of you. He would like to know how you have seen the Women's World Cup that was held this summer in Australia and New Zealand. What did you think of Spain's victory? And if you think in 2027, Saudi Arabia will be one of the participating teams. And Ruben is also from ABC newspaper.
Just a second, maybe you can answer this.
Sure thing. Regarding the Women's World Cup, like I told the previous interviewers, I watched the previous World Cup before this, and it was just out of curiosity and an excitement just to see how women's football is around the world. But then this year's Women's World Cup was different. I got to see it from a different perspective now that we're part of the FIFA rank list and now that we're a national team. You watch it from a perspective that these are our opponents, you know, these are like our equals and we're going to be facing them in the future. So I definitely watched it from a different lens and it was very, very interesting to watch, very exciting. And I think it's been the best and most intense and the best World Cup for women so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I've been in the World Cup 4 weeks. I have seen Spain every game. And of course, I was very happy in the end. Of course, not that Germany didn't come to the final, but Spain really deserved that victory. And I've been following Spain, of course, for a long time in Europe, since 2010. They've been winning the Under-17 World Cup. They're winning the Under-20 World Cup. And their youth development is tremendous in the last, can you say, 13 years. And now winning, in the end, the big title, getting the world champion, they really deserve it. Of course, what happened afterwards, we don't want to talk about it because I felt very, very a pity that then the celebration was coming behind what happened on the reward ceremony. And the other thing which impressed me in the World Cup is to see Morocco joining the World Cup, and that one Muslim player, she was wearing a hijab and showed the whole world you can be the best player or the best player in the world coming to the World Cup and wearing a hijab, wearing long leggings. I think this is all possible. And to be part of this game, you know, and that makes me very proud and very happy, because I've been fighting in many, many Arab countries in the last years for development, that everybody gets the chance to play the game. It doesn't matter which religion, where they come from, that every woman has the right to play, every woman has the potential and of course the opportunity to play this beautiful game as the men have, also the women.
Amazing. Thank you, Coach Monika. Tamara?
Thank you, Farah. So with all eyes on the kingdom right now, how do you think having a developed women's football team will help establish Saudi Arabia as a serious player internationally in the football sector, but also in sports in general?
Would you like to answer?
I didn't quite catch it. You mean a Saudi player, or you mean someone coming from outside?
No, so how, like, investing in the women's team in Saudi Arabia, how is that going to showcase the country as a serious player internationally? So how will people be able to, or how will people perceive Saudi Arabia now that when they see it investing in women's teams as much as they are investing in men's team?
Well, first of all, everyone who sees the documentary sees what is really happening in Saudi Arabia. I think this is a wonderful movie, a wonderful video to watch. These emotion, these inspiring girls, you know, you saw these 4, 5, 6-year-old girls, they had the shirt on from Saudi Arabia. And I think this is a bright future, and this is investing in the grassroots, in the young generation. And we established an Under-17 national team this year. And I think it's one thing many people don't know in the world, that Saudi Arabia is a crazy nation of football, and everybody loves football. They are born with football, and I didn't expect that, to tell you the truth. When I was coming to Saudi, I knew I was in Bahrain, I was in Qatar, in Kuwait, you know, all these GCC countries, and I didn't expect how crazy they are about football. Like we in Europe, you know, we wake up, well, we are born and we smell the grass. We are Champions League winner. We are, you know, having a much more relation to football. And then suddenly this I experienced in Saudi Arabia. So I think we have to look at the perception and the assumption. People think from outside what is happening in Saudi Arabia, but they've always been crazy about football. And now the leadership, and that's what I said before, are giving us the women the opportunity to play this beautiful game and having this seriousness. And when we started last year with the league, and we asked the men club, would you like to put up women football? And actually last year, 5 or completely right away said, yes, we want women football. Hilal, Al-Nasser, Al-Shabaab, Al-Ahli, and of course Ittihad. And I was surprised. It took us 30 years in Germany that we got Wolfsburg, Bayern Munich, to be serious about women football. And here now, this year, we have 7 men clubs from the first Premier League who want to put up women football. And I think this you need to see how much football is liked, not only on the men's side, but also on the women's side. So this is a tremendous outcome to develop the game, to get good foreign players. Of course, now they are coming, they are convinced it's a country we can live, it's a country we can contribute with our good game. And we have now, I think, 3 world-class players who've been in the World Cup in Australia, now playing here in the league. And it shows how serious also they take this opportunity to come and to contribute on the performance level. And for me, is this a development which is good for the Saudi players, because they can look up to these players and they can learn from these players. And so we will finally and hopefully get more performance level in the league and for the Saudi national players.
Thank you.
Juan, if you have any more questions.
Yes, of course. I agree. I was in Saudi already 3 times, and just coming back from a marvelous trip 1 week or 2 weeks ago. So I agree that people is mad for football, and we have to communicate that here in Spain, because maybe people doesn't know what we are watching there. But a difficult question for Monika. Difficult one for Monika. Monika, that there were some rumors. I don't know if were true or not, but I know you have a coach. I know you have a good, well-prepared coach right now. But for the future, and just tell me if it was true or not. You know that our world champion coach, Mr. Bilda, is now off, and he has no job. He's free. It was true that the Saudi national team wanted to sign him, or it's a possibility for the future because he has the whole experience. He's world champion. It's a possibility for the future. Just tell me if it's possible that, Monika. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know anything about it, and I'm very close, of course, to Lamia Bayan. We are having a lot of conversation almost every day, and a lot of communication about the future. Of course, we are having now 8 foreign coaches. We have a Spain fitness coach, so we are very happy and lucky to have David Barashini. He was in Valencia with the women national, with the women team in the first league. So I never heard about this, that Georgi, I know him very much personal, so I haven't heard about that. So maybe some other rumors, I don't know, but I cannot tell you this. And the other thing is, I'm looking very much, this is my personal attitude, I'm looking for very good female coaches. Why? Because I want to give these female coaches the opportunity. I want female coaches to develop, because men coaches are still in the more superiority, and I feel female coaches need to get these opportunities, and female coaches understand the women much better. This is my own opinion. And if I have coaches from men or women's side, if they have the same competence, I prefer to take female coaches. So we have now 4 female coaches, 6 female coaches and 2 men in our coaching staff. So I think it's very important that we give these female coaches the chance. But if Georgi calls me and he wants a job, I can maybe get him a job somewhere in the Saudi league. I don't know, but now many coaches are coming, I can tell you this. I get almost every day inquiries. How is the life in Saudi Arabia? Can we go there in women football, also in men football? I have many requests and inquiries from German coaches. Of course, they know me. So I give them all the information I can share that I've been there in 2 years and tell them how is the real life in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Monika. Faisal, you have a question?
Hi, Monika. Unfortunately, John Doerden was supposed to attend this roundtable, but he couldn't. He was kind enough to send in some questions. He's a journalist and covers Asia for The Guardian, BBC, New York Times, World Soccer, AP, ESPN, amongst many other prominent media outlets. His question to you was, how important is hosting the 2026 AFC Women's Asian Cup to Saudi Arabia and women's football? I think they may have cut off, by the way.
I think, yeah, internet froze from my side. Sorry, let me just send them. They said time ran out and they want us to send in a new link. Weird. Okay, let's see.
I think they can click it again.
Yeah.
I'll actually turn on my camera.
Okay, that's yeah, they're back online. Hi, Monika. Hi, Leanne.
Sorry for this, but
No,
somehow the session ran out, so I don't know why.
Sorry, just before we continue, so Juan had to jump off for a few minutes. He's on a radio show and he will try to come back as soon as he's finished.
Yeah, I don't know which part you cut off on, but I'm going to start from the beginning. John Doerden was supposed to attend this roundtable, but unfortunately he couldn't with the timings. He's a journalist and he covers Asian football for The Guardian, BBC, New York Times, World Soccer, AP, ESPN, amongst many other prominent media outlets. His question is actually to both of you. He asked, how important is hosting the 2026 AFC Women's Asian Cup to Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabian football?
Who wants to answer?
You can go ahead.
I think we had a bit. I'm not sure at the moment, they haven't made a decision. I think we might, have a little bit at the later date, because I think we are still in the development phase with the national team. So 2026 is around the corner in 2 years' time to compete with Japan, with South Korea, with Australia and China. I believe that I always told that might be a little bit too early. It's a good experience, of course, for the national team, but we also have to be realistic that it takes time to develop a really good national team, especially now what we are doing at the young generation. We're going to have now an under 15 national team coming up next season or this season, and also under 20 national team, because we established the under 17 national team. So of course these 4 national teams are very important to compete in the AFC competition, to get experience, and that's what we are at the moment. We have a tournament here in Taif. 6 countries, 6 FAs are competing, Malaysia, Bhutan, Pakistan, Laos and Lebanon. So it's great that the federation is making all these efforts to give us these international exposure, because that is what we need, the players to have this experience in a competitive way to develop and to get better performance.
Right. I think it's also a big step for us. I mean, when we heard about the news, it was like unbelievable, you know? So it just gives us more of a push of, you know, how much we have to work hard to reach this kind of thing. And like Coach Monica said, we also have to be realistic. I mean, all these teams we're talking about were established, I think, way longer than we have. We've been now a national team about a year and a half. So I applaud how far we've come, but also recognize how hard we need to work to be able to compete at that level. And I guess it's about working. It's about thinking about the present moment and just what we're going through right now. So now we're focused on the tournament, and you just take it step by step. If this time comes that we do face these big teams, we'll face it at that time, and we'll think about it at that time, and hopefully we'll be ready.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Tamara.
Okay, my question is for Layan, but Monica, please feel free to jump in after. What is your hope for the future of women's football in Saudi Arabia?
My hope, well, a lot of our dreams and hopes and goals are kind of already laid out for us. We already spoke about beforehand. We already spoke about hosting tournaments, and we did that. And we spoke about being FIFA ranked, and we went towards that. And now we're hearing about, you know, that we want to host the Asian Cup. So it's slowly, bit by bit, we kind of see where we're heading, and we kind of have somewhat of a clear plan of what we want to achieve. So for me, it's if I'm talking away from the facts and everything, I just really have my hope in building a good foundation, because it all starts with having the base layer of it to be very strong, you know. So it's all about building the recreational centers, you know, making sure that the younger generation is taught in a correct way and taught professionalism at a young age. And I think building that foundation is very important, and that's pretty much, I think that's what's going to be the future, of course. And our part in it, the older people in this journey, I think our part in this is to get out of our comfort zone and to take these first steps for the next generation. So just a lot of hard work, and I feel like hard work will pay off.
Well, I just maybe want to add this national team we have now, these are the role models for the future, and all of them for me are pioneers. And if I see the leadership, I just have to mention these three names again: Lamia, Atwa, and Alia, and of course the whole FA with the president and the GS. These leadership, I think we just can be thankful to them, how serious they are and how committed they are to really make this progression. And again, what I said before in some interviews, I haven't seen a country in 2 years or 1.5 years to make such a progression. Of course, sometimes you go up the mountain, you know, Mount Everest, the first 2,000 meters are okay, quick, you go up, and then the air gets thinner and thinner. So, of course, it will be more harder the higher we get and the higher we reach that level we all want to be, and it's going to be really hard work. But I believe the leadership is so much in hope and so much in completing their dreams or wishing their dreams to come true, that I don't even know what's going to happen in a few years' time, looking at the fast progression we already made in such a short time. And I believe the leadership is so not only serious, but their strategy is so clear, and they know what they have to do on the basis, like Leon saying, that we need to have these regional training centers. So now these young generation from 10 to 15, we are building up for the future national players, national team players. So that is the correct and right way what we are doing. And the other very big issue is that we have coach education. We have 28 now B licensed coaches. We have over 170 C licensed coaches. We are educate them. We want to have a lot of female coaches to one day take our job. So we have done everything what we need to do, our expertise to give the Saudi women football department and federation, that these coaches take over. And we have assistant coach Donna Rajab. She has just done her A license, the first ever woman Saudi who is doing an A license with men, with 25 or 24 men, 25 men, and she was doing the A license. And this is what we are looking for. We're not only looking the success, what the national team, we're looking at the success, coach education, the young players, the grassroots programs, as well as the league, because the league is so important how the players going to develop, because the clubs having these players every day, it's not only about the national team. So when the clubs are working good, we have now in almost every club new coaches, foreign coaches, Europe coaches, experienced coaches, female as well as male. So this means a higher standard of performance level from the players, not only the foreign players, also for the Saudi players. So we are heading at the whole program, which is so done by so smart people, like I said, and I'm sure they're going to reach their aim one day. They want to go to the World Cup, and I'm sure they will do this.
Thank you.
Faisal, back to you.
So John had a two-part question. The first part is for Monika and the second part is for Layan. The first part of the question is, have the Saudi Arabian women's national team set their sights on qualifying for the 2027 Women's World Cup?
No, I don't think this is at the moment reality. We are still in the phase of development. We are still looking to have a good foundation from the under 17, under 20, and of course the under 15 national team. And I'm sure 2027 is around the corner. And for me, I know all the people who are making decisions, they would love to go there. But for me, I think it's not realistic to be there in the World Cup 2027.
Thank you. And his second part of the question to Layan was, if hopefully you do qualify for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup, what would this mean for women's football in Saudi Arabia?
Well, of course, I mean, how many years ahead is this? 3 years? Yeah. So, I mean, looking at what we've done in a year and a half, it's a lot of progress, but it's like what you said with the Mount Everest, taking that leap from 0 to 90, it's you can say it's you could get progress very fast, but to fine tune, to reach another level, it gets harder and harder as you go. I don't know if that's clear, if you understand me. So looking at it ahead, if we do end up qualifying, I mean, God knows what happens in the future. But if we do end up playing the World Cup, obviously it's like crazy. It's a dream, you know. Whatever challenges we do end up facing, we're gonna do our best, and I think that's what matters. I think that's the only thing that matters. That wherever we do end up playing, that we do try our best, and we know that football has. There's a huge part in football, which is your spirit, and sometimes that comes from not experience, not professionalism. It just comes from your heart. And I think, you know, it's interesting wherever we go, that as long as we have a good spirit and we try our best, I think that'll be great. I think it would be a big
step.
Yeah.
Thank you, Layan.
So last round of questions, Tamara.
So what do you think are the remaining factors that are essential for the development of the women's team? What progress still has to be made?
Would you like me to talk? Well, I believe there's so much progress to be made. We just started. We've accomplished so much, but there's so much more to accomplish. Even for the best national teams around the world, there's still so much progress to accomplish. So I think for us, there's many things to keep aiming for. There's always some more fine-tuning, there's so much more that we need to learn and to gain, and a lot of that is going to come from more experience, facing more international teams, having more camps, growing together. So I think there's so much that we need to dig in within ourselves and outwards that we need to go through.
Yeah, I mean, please don't forget, we start from zero just 1.5 years ago. And I tell you the story, we had 400 registered players who all wanted to be in the national team. And they all came and wanted to be part of this. And I had to choose 35 we had, and then 30, and then 25 going to the Maldives. And I tell you, what is happening now in Saudi Arabia, it's just unbelievable. We had last year, the first time, a school competition for the league, well, for the schools, and there was 50,000 registration for the school league. And I thought, this is unbelievable and amazing that so many interest is all over the country. And we know Saudi Arabia is a big country. Saudi Arabia has over 333 million inhabitants. So I'm sure we have so many talented we haven't even seen yet, yeah. But we have to be very honest and realistic. Every development in sport takes time. It cannot come overnight. And starting from zero and where we have come now, it's amazing. It's great. It's really fantastic. But the development, like I said, it's going to be more difficult to reach the top. And we're talking about Spain, we're talking about England, we talk about Germany's performance or USA performance, and we need to be patient. I think this is what I always recommend my leader. You know, this is taken time, you know, and you need at least the development of 5 years. That is what I always said, 5 to 10 years to have really a solid foundation, which is the basis. And from there, I think you can make bigger jumps and you can be part of the best maybe in the world. We saw Morocco going to the World Cup. We saw Vietnam going to the World Cup, Philippines going to the World Cup from nowhere. So it's possible if all the FA is serious in the development in women football. I think a lot of really things can happen in the future in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
And last question is going to be for Juan.
Yes, my final question, just to wish all my best, the good luck to both of you, because, for example, as Monica says, here in Spain, we have progressed a lot in so few years. So I wish you all the same progress. I wish that it will be almost the same. And the final question is: you, Monica, said that was in the World Cup. And of course, Laia for sure watch it. Which is your favorite Spanish player?
What a question, stupid question. There's only one number 6 and only one player in the world for me for years now. Bonmati is unbelievable player. I think she cannot be reached at the moment by anybody. And she is absolute my favorite in the
I remember in the games, all I hear by the commentator, Bon Mate, Bon Mate, Bon Mate. It was insane, yeah. Yeah, I do agree with Coach Monica, and she's in my position. So.
Okay.
Okay, I will tell her, don't worry.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Coach Monica and Layan, for your time. Can you please stay with us on the call? And for the journalists, thank you guys so much for your questions and your time. And please stay tuned, because there's a lot of exciting things that's happening with women's football in Saudi. So keep an eye out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Monica and Layan. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure. Thank you.
See you guys.
See you. She said to stay in the call, right?
Yes, that's what she said. The journalists are going out, so I have no control about this because I don't know who is who, really.
Okay.
How was it, guys?
It was okay. It was good.
Wait, Farah, let me stop the recording. 1 second.
Yeah.
I like that kind of doing it together, you know, because it makes it a bit more comfortable. I'm not sure.
Yeah,